Hello, I'm Pierre Trapanese with Northland Controls. I'm often asked, what is the Northland Challenge and how did it get started? Well, the Northland Challenge is a team building event that we started almost 20 years ago. And the team building was decided, instead of doing sort of a traditional team building in the US somewhere and paying a certain amount, is that we had people all over the world. And how do we get them together doing something that gets them out of the comfort zone? They learn something, and they learn something about each other and how to work well together. And so the Northland Challenge is at its core a team building event, but we've taken it a bit further beyond that from the way it got started. It got started when we had an employee who was 25 years old, a technician who was basically assigned to go move to Europe in, I believe, 2008 or 2009. He'd never been out of the United States. He goes to Europe and he basically commissions projects for us all over Europe, 25 different countries in 12 months. And at one point we asked him to go to India. We were just starting a project there in Chennai. And he first shows up in India and is horribly uncomfortable. And with this discomfort, rather than sort of pulling back, he actually engaged more and more. He was staying at a really nice hotel. He had, the first day, a nice car taking him to the construction site. But he was uncomfortable having a car and driver on a construction site. So he befriended a tuk-tuk driver who took him to the site the second day. And on the third day, he convinced the tuk-tuk driver to let him drive. And this being sort of a California guy, never been out of the US until the prior year, is in India, now driving a tuk-tuk across Chennai onto a construction site. Instant hero. He appreciated, and the community around him appreciated what he did so much that he found a challenge crossing India. It was, I believe, a 2,000 kilometer challenge, and asked if we would sponsor him. And we did. We sponsored him with the caveat that he needed to go with somebody who actually had traveled much more and who's an experienced traveler. And they went. There were, I believe, about 24 competitors, and our team came in second place. They had a great time and learned how to sort of assimilate into a culture to get from point A to point B. That turned into an idea where we can't spend 2 or 3 weeks on a team building exercise, but we can spend 5 or 6 days. I talked to the organizers who customized a Northland Challenge for Northland across South India, and that was our first official Northland Challenge in 2010. We started in Cochin and worked our way up across the mountains, down to the other side to Pondicherry and back up to Chennai. It was amazing. Basically no maps, no GPS, no technology, and the only way you get from point A to point B is by asking people. And that was the start of the Northland Challenge. It was so successful, we decided to do it every other year from that point on. So we've held a number of challenges throughout the years. We started off with the Tuk-Tuk Challenge in southern India, where we went from Cochin across the mountains and over to Pondicherry and up to Chennai. After that, we did a challenge in Uganda and Rwanda, as well as the Caucasus. In the Caucasus, we started in Armenia, went into the Nagorno-Karabakh Republic, and back up into Armenia over to Georgia. And then for Uganda, Rwanda, we started off with some RAV4s in Uganda, and we drove through self-driven safaris in Uganda, across the border into Rwanda, where we did a project in the hills of Rwanda, and back up into Uganda. After that, we did one of my favorites, which was the American Southwest. I thought it would be a dull one, but it turned out to be one of the most challenging and interesting challenges we did in the American Southwest. And from there, we did a challenge in a trekking challenge in Nepal in the Himalayas. What are some of my favorite moments on these challenges? Some of the favorite moments are the first couple of days when people are just starting to get used to their partners, their vehicles, the team. Some of the favorite moments is we did a solar project in the hills of Rwanda where we couldn't get to it by any vehicle, so we had to trek in, and then we broke through into a clearing where the school was actually in the hills, and it was just stunning, an amazing, very memorable moment. 2026 India challenge is the Northland Rajasthan challenge. Is we're going back to our tuk-tuks in India, in a different area of India in the northwest. It should be a completely different terrain, different experience, but same components. No maps, no GPS, no technology. How do you get from point A to point B? Our challenges have gotten bigger. We started off initially with 7 vehicles, and we've now grown to 14 vehicles. It's important to hold the Northland challenges as it furthers our purpose. Our purpose is to unlock prosperity for all the people we touch. Prosperity for us is to achieve our potential as individuals and as an organization. And the way that we can sort of push our potential and kind of understand what our true potential is by doing things that are uncomfortable. And that's what the challenge is all about, is doing things that are uncomfortable and realizing that we can actually do these things and they're not as hard or as bad as we think. And sometimes it can be humorous, sometimes it can be difficult, sometimes it can even be painful. But at the end of the day, we do achieve sort of the goals and we grow in the process. And things that appear difficult or challenging before we start, after we've done them, we can see, oh, that's achievable, which then allows us to sort of stretch our boundaries of capabilities and achieve a greater potential in our lives. And that's why we do the Northland Challenge. It just helps us all grow as individuals and as a team.